Bill Hader, good friend of mine, right? He was brilliant on SNL, and when he left the show this year, every single person was like, what are you doing? You're never, ever gonna work again, like ever. And what does my man Bill do? Boom, he goes ahead and books himself a T-Mobile commercial. Who's laughing now, Lorne Michaels?
Just flew in from New York, and boy are my arms fine, because Seth Rogen gave me a ride on his private jet. Way to be thoughtful and generous when you had nothing to gain from it, pussy. I'm kidding, super appreciate the hookup. But seriously, Seth, what's up with your gigantic tux? I'd be swimming in that thing. If I could swim, burned you, I can't swim. Roastmaster? Check. Let's see, who else should I lampoon? Wow, look at this dais, a word I knew before tonight. Someone must have told the producer that this was a panel of Kenny Rogers roasters, because you guys are a bunch of chickens. Thank you. It's a chicken-based restaurant, I researched that. The lovely Sarah Silverman is here. I hate to break it to you, Sarah, but you're getting older. And you know who else is getting older? My mom. I'm scared she's gonna die soon. What's that gonna be like? Roasted you? Roasted Sarah. Okay, who's my next victim? Natasha Leggero is here. She's basically a complete unknown, but tonight we're getting paid the same amount of money. Got you. Well, guess what, Natasha? You can do everything I can do, but I can never experience the miracle of birthing a child. Roasted you. Roastafari. Like a reggae guy. Here's one. Nick Kroll, Bill Hader, and Seth Rogen walk into a bar. They're there to pick me up because I'm an alcoholic who can't manage my feelings. Nailed you, fucker. Suck a butt. Is there a barista here? Because this roast just got dark. Who else wants the wrath? My good friend Aziz Ansari is here. Aziz's parents are from India and he's from South Carolina. Hey Aziz, what's it like to have a unique perspective on what it means to be American, you bag of shit? Roasting so hard right now. Jonah Hill is here. Jonah is so dumb that when he had me over for a dinner party, I overstayed my welcome and he pretended to be tired so I would leave without getting my feelings hurt. You a passive-aggressive sweetheart, Jonah! Just asked me to leave. But I did want to stay. Who else is here? Oh yeah, God is here. God is everywhere, okay? He walks with me through sunshine and rain. He protects me from temptation. He is my light. Roasted the Father. On the sacrilege tip. Expect letters, Comedy Central. If you don't want controversy, you shouldn't have invited the king.
I want to start with John Stamos, our esteemed roast master. John, well, John has a reputation for being a bit of a swinger. Did you know instead of an umbilical cord, John was born with a bungee cord? And Cloris Leachman is here. Cloris? Cloris, if people say you're over the hill, don't believe them. Why, you'll never be over the hill, not in the car you drive. Greg Giraldo is here. He has the grace of a swan, the wisdom of an owl, and the eye of an eagle. Ladies and gentlemen, this man is for the birds. Susie Essman, of course, is famous for being a vegetarian. Hey, she may be a vegetarian, but she's still full of baloney in my book. Gilbert Godfrey, one of my best friends. I love Gilbert. When you go to the men's room later, you'll see a sign that says, "Gentlemen, pay no heed, go right in." There's no room that says "scoundrel" on it. But now we come to Bob Saget, and that's why we're all here. Bob? Bob, you have a lot of well-wishers here tonight, and a lot of them would like to throw you down one, a well. They want to murder you in a well. Seems a little harsh, but apparently they want to murder you in a well. It says here on this card. No, but Bob has a beautiful face, like a flower. Yeah, cauliflower. No offense, but your face looks like a cauliflower. Now, I heard you have hair on your chest, Bob, and, well, let me tell you something. That isn't your only resemblance to Rin Tin Tin. You're a fucking dog face. How can you not get that? No, there are times when Bob has something on his mind, when he wears a hat. With no thoughts at all, just a hat. And Bob isn't the biggest sports fan. I don't think I'm telling any tales out of school. I took him to a ball game, and he came toting a double-barreled shotgun. You remember that? I said, "What the H is that for?" Bob said, "I heard the Lions were playing the Tigers." You remember that?
Yeah.
No, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's never bought Christmas seals. He told me he wouldn't know what to feed them. This concludes the joke. In all seriousness, Bob was the first comedian that I ever saw perform when I was a boy, live, and I loved him. But one thing that bonds us as comedians is we're bitter and jealous, and we hate everyone else that has any success. But Bob, honestly, has never had an unkind word for anybody, and I love him, and I hope everybody else does, so I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
It's really great to be here for my buddy James. I just don't know why they would choose me, though, because there's nothing really anyone can make fun of me for. I guess these guys are gonna make fun of me for something, so I just think I'm just gonna be nice and say what I like about them, because I really love all these people up here. You know, like Bill Hader, good friend of mine, right? He was brilliant on SNL. He was brilliant. And when he left the show this year, every single person was like, "What are you doing? You're never, ever gonna work again, like ever." And what does my man Bill do? Boom! He goes ahead and books himself a T-Mobile commercial. Who's laughing now, Lorne Michaels? My man Bill is. I mean, this guy's cashing checks from the 4th largest mobile provider in the nation. And look, I respect Bill because Sprint was coming after him hard. But he just held out for that fuck you T-Mobile money. Bill's awesome. I love you, Bill. Andy Samberg is another friend of mine. I love him. And now that he's got his new TV show, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which I'm assuming is about this Brooklyn cop who tried to make it in the movie business but failed and got sent back to TV. My only question is, Andy, when the show gets canceled after 5 episodes, are you gonna do a different cell phone commercial, or are they gonna turn bills into a two-hander for both of you guys? Andy's awesome. Sarah Silverman, so amazing, so beautiful. I think you're gorgeous, and I think it's crazy because everyone's like, she's hot for a comic, but I don't agree, because she's not just hot for a comic, she's hot for someone her age.
That's right.
Seriously, Sarah, you were my favorite comic as a kid. And people say it's too late for Sarah to become successful in movies at her age. I, again, do not agree. It's not impossible. I mean, it's not like they're asking you to bear children or anything like that. Because you can't do that. Aziz, Natasha, Nick Kroll. I'm assuming you guys are James's friends from high school. But I think that is so dope that you guys are willing to get up here even though no one knows who the fuck you guys are. Okay, that was a joke. I know who you guys are. But genuinely, Aziz hates this joke because all Aziz wants is to be famous. I mean, he's famous in like Silver Lake, but who gives a shit, right? And can we talk about my buddy Seth Rogen? Come on. I adore this guy. I fucking adore this guy. He's a great writer, a great friend, and we can't talk about Seth without talking about the Green Hornet. We just can't, right? Because every person in the world is like, the Green Hornet lost so much money. But that's not true. It didn't lose that much money. I mean, every single person in the world fucking hated it, but it didn't lose that much money. And that's the goal after all, right? To make terrible movies that don't lose that much money.
Bruce, slumming it here on your behalf at Comedy Central is not something I would do for many people, but I owe you big, and you know what I'm talking about, but I would say this puts us totally square. In fact, I think probably it's back on you after tonight, yeah? Okay. It is a pleasure to be here to stick a fork in my pal Bruce Willis. I'm here to do something I think maybe only I can do as someone who has made a career out of character analysis. I am here to do a deep dissection of how the bartender from New Jersey became such a big titty of a global movie star. Because I feel if I had not distracted myself with obsession on the likes of De Niro and Hoffman and Daniel Day-Lewis, things might have been very different. I'm now coming to realize, my middle age, if I had cracked the mystery of how you became a movie star, then maybe there still might be time for me to be more like you. I mean, if I end up settling for 3 Academy Award nods and the respective audiences and critics and my peers globally, I'll find a way to be happy about it. But the cold truth of it is that good reviews in the New Yorker and Oscar nominations that you lose to the Farmers Insurance pitchman J.K. Simmons. They don't, those things are great, but they don't buy you half of Idaho, do they? No, they do not. They do not. It's not that I'm jealous, but Jesus, you get away with everything. I mean, can I cock my eye and say some cryptic shit that literally not one person in the room understands and have everyone laugh their asses off? I cannot. You're laughing because you think I'm making a joke. I was sitting at a bar with Bruce, and I asked him if he liked the script I'd sent him, and he says, try keeping a marriage together when 22 is still on the menu. Does that mean? I mean, I know what it means, but why say it to that? But I fell off my bar stool laughing. I had no idea why. I still don't know what he thought of the script, and we're done making the movie. I don't think he's read it. Can I act that weird and have people love me? I cannot. I wish I was Teflon like you, but then again, I do like my kids not being embarrassed by me. But seriously, could I ever leave a movie set after my close-ups are done and leave every one of my co-stars for the last 30 years to act their scenes looking at a C-stand with a red X taped to it? Listening to the 60-year-old script girl reading the John McClane lines to them? And still have directors like Quentin Tarantino call me? No, I act my ass off. Quentin never calls me. You know what I wouldn't give for the opportunity to tell that prick, I'm gonna rewrite this piece of shit tonight. By the way, when Wes Anderson calls him, he and I do Moonrise Kingdom together, and this is true, everyone in the cast stayed in a little house together. We did our own costumes and makeup, we did our own hair, and we went to set in a van together to save money. Even Bill Murray, but not Bruce Willis. He rented the Carnegie Mansion next door like a boss. When Wes said, do you think Bruce understands that I really want this to be like a repertory theater troupe? I said, shut the up, you long-haired pussy. That's a movie star. It's not fair. It's not fair. I've got a claim, but I can't pull big cock movie star power moves like him and say, the box office and streaming services. I'm not making any more movies unless they go straight to DVD. And keep that up for like, what, 5 years now? No way. If I pulled that, my ass would be out in the cold and they'd be calling Joseph Three-Name Levitt for Fight Club 2. I couldn't make Hudson Hawk and literally work ever again for a single day. Never. No one else would have survived that. You thrived. Why is this? Why? Why? We have to figure it out. Was it your training? No. You didn't go to candy-ass acting class for training. You did mounds of cocaine and tended bar with your male ballerina pal, Steve Eads, and... I mean, what good is acting school anyway, you know? I mean, I think maybe it's your name, Bruce Willis. It pops. It's just an action hero. Mine still makes people think of Eddie Murphy sodomizing Art Carney. I don't know, maybe I try to challenge myself. I look for roles that stretch me and are different, whereas you deliver consistently the same performance, and I mean like the same one every time. Maybe it's the script. I have to adopt your relationship to the script. I tried to be like you. I did a big action movie called The Incredible Hulk. You know what went wrong? I wanted a better script. I thought maybe we should try to make one Marvel movie that was at least as good as the worst Chris Nolan movie, but what the hell was I thinking? The last thing Bruce Willis would demand is a better script. I'm such an idiot. The script of his last 3 films was crinkle your forehead, say short, memorable quip, no more than 4 words, shoot the gun, duck, repeat the end. It's a half a page long. You could learn your lines in the car on the way to the set. You don't, but you could. He doesn't have time for lines. He has to blow shit up. I'm so stupid. All my decisions have been wrong. I have to start going for scripts that are short and dumb, full of grunts, easily dubbed for the Bosnian market. And then I could get a G5, a Caribbean island, 7 daughters by 3 different women that I know of. At the end of the day, though, I've come to think, actually, it might just be all about your head, your incredible bald head. And frankly, I think it's because it closely resembles a nicely shaped cock. Look at it, turn sideways. Look at it. And like a nicely shaped penis, nobody can stop looking at it. It's totally hypnotic to men and women alike. You have a perfect dickhead, and men and women are both comfortable with it. They think it's funny, a little scary, a little sexy. that is a rare thing. It's a rare thing, and I know because I tried to emulate you in American History X. I shaved my head, I acted like a racist asshole, and it's probably the closest any actor has actually come to being you in a film, and I got nominated for Best Actor, but the movie made less money than you made on the opening weekend of Nobody's Fool. It's like, you got to work with Paul Newman, and all I got was my skinhead poster in the bathrooms of the gay clubs on Santa Monica Boulevard. I don't know. I think I have to accept it. I will never be the global dickhead powerhouse that you are. No matter how good I am, no matter how committed, no matter how professional, all those things take me further from your standard of stardom. There is nobody else like you, damn it. Nobody. Joking aside, I was doing a play many years ago in New York, and I came home one night after the show, and there was a letter in my apartment building from the Four Seasons Hotel. And I read it, and it was one of the most thoughtful, articulate letters I got about this whole play. And it was signed Bruce Willis. And I immediately called my friend Stuart and said, you, it's a wind-up. And he said, I don't know what you're talking about. So I called Bruce. I said, did you really write me this letter? He said, yeah. So we had a beer, and he says, essentially, you're doing the kind of work I want to be a part of, and whatever you're doing, if you can put me in the mix, I'm in, sight unseen. And I didn't think that would really stick. And many years later, when I wanted to make my own film, real passion project, it's hard to get those things done, he was the first person I called, and he said, I told you, if you ever need me, I'm in. And we just made this movie together and had a beautiful time. And I wouldn't have gotten it made without you. And I'm really deeply grateful for that. I love you. Or maybe I'm a very good actor and I'm just acting when I say that. You would... you wouldn't know the difference, and that's the reason I love you.
Thank you.